Hello everybody, I'm Larry from Larry's Fountain Pens, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is a request from one of my viewers, and his name is
Manpreet Singh.
And his message to me was if I could give him some suggestions how to hold a slippery pen. A Cross Century 1 ball pen, Cross Century 2 ball pen, or a Parker Urban Roller Ball pen. Now, what I've done was I whipped some of my cross pens out, and I'm going to show you how I hold my pen. Now, this is how I hold my pen. And I'll give you the suggestions that will work for me. Now, remember, I've always said this, we all are different. You might disagree with me or not, but that's okay. You have your ways, I have my ways, and for me, they work well. So I'm going to give you my best thoughts I can to help you on your journey with a slippery fountain pen. Now, the pens I will be showing today are not inked up. I will be just showing different pens that are slippery and how I hold them. Before I go into that, let me tell you about fingers. Some people have oily, sweaty fingers that a lot of times, some of the times, most of the times, when they put those fingers to a chrome ballpoint fountain pen, gel pen, rollerball, chrome, period, they will be slippery. Or any kind of a slippery pen. Doesn't have to be chrome, but a pen that is slippery. And I know some people that have dry fingers. When they put their fingers on a slippery pen, now they're dry. That pen becomes difficult because it gets slippery. So that was very interesting when I heard that. So what I have here, I do have a Parker Jotter ballpoint pen. And it's right here that I will be doing a full review later as soon as I get the rest of the items that I need to do the review I want to do on the Parker. But anyway, here is the Parker, and it's a metal pen. Is it slippery? That can be yes or no. It's not really slippery for me at all. And here's how I hold my pen, just like this. Now, I'm going to write with this because it has a refill in it already. So, and I have to hold it tight to make sure it won't slip out. For another reason, it has a more narrow barrel to it. The grit on the end of the barrel is more slim, narrow than the top of the pen up in here. So normally I just hold it, with a light touch at the fingers, nothing super hard. But with some pens I do have to put a certain amount of pressure in my grip to make sure it doesn't slip out of my hands. So now this right now is just, there's no pressure. And it's okay, but I do have to put some pressure to grip the pen. I'm not talking about how the pen writes, about holding the pen. So I hold my pen right about here, as you can see. And I've written with the pen for long periods of time. So I know how to adjust my fingers. That's going to work for me. But slippery pens can be tricky. So if you're not sure about a slippery pen, but you have found a pen that you're attracted to and you want to get that pen, but being uncertain if you're going to be able to enjoy the pen enough to buy it because it could be slippery for you, I would suggest to buy a low-end pen that's slippery and start from there. So this is how I hold my pen. I've seen some people that hold a pen right here. Now I can't do that, but for me, right here is comfortable and it's not slippery. Now, my fingers, like I said, can sweat or get oily. Not immediately. It takes a little bit of time for them to start doing that. But I don't really have much of that problem. But if I do, I'll get a napkin and I'll just wipe off my fingers, get the sweat and oils off, and go back at it. And I would also wipe the pen off to make sure any sweat or oils that came from my fingers onto the pen are taken off. For me, again, it works for me. The way I'm telling you how it works for me may not work for others, but for me, hey, I'm good to go with it. So that's one way. Another way, you can get yourself a cloth, a towel, a hand towel, whatever, and do the same thing. That's how I do mine. Just like that. And I always do this to make sure that the pen is free from any oils or sweat that may have gotten on the barrel. Okay? So let me put that up. Now, right here I do have a cross roller ball and it is filled with ink, so I'm going to write with that to show you. I'll go ahead and post it. Now this has a resin grip, so it's not, to me, slippery. But there are some folks out there that would say to them it is slippery. Everybody has their own thing about what's slippery to them, what's not slippery to them. To me, this is not slippery because of the grip. And here's where I hold my fingers on the grip. It's not a big grip, but it's not a small grip as well. I would say it's a regular medium-sized grip that would accommodate, larger fingers. So here's how I hold mine, and I don't have to hold this grip tight whatsoever. I just have it with a regular finger grip like I do my fountain pens, and it's fine. There are some people that just really have to grip it hard and write, and that could affect your writing. It just depends on the individual. If they're accustomed to write with a pen with a lot of pressure they're applying to the pen, because the pen could be slippery for them. But this one, not a problem at all. And here is another cross pin. Again, same as the roller ball, nice size grip, and I don't have any problems with this one at all. Not slippery at all, the grip. Again, I'll say it again, some people find this grip slippery. I do not. So I hold my grip right about here. Now remember, if your finger's starting to get sweaty, get some tissue, wipe them off, and wipe off the grip to make double sure that you don't leave any oils or wetness from your fingers. At least that's what I do, and it works well for me. And we'll try this cross pin here. Again, this has a bit larger grip, as you can see, but a more narrow grip, and it's fine. No problems whatsoever. But if it does get slippery, I do my fingers, wipe them off on tissue or a towel, and I'll wipe off my grip. Same thing to make double sure that it's going to be dry. And then here's another cross fountain pen, and the barrel has more grip to it, and again, the grip is good enough for larger, chunky fingers, and the grip section is not slippery, at least not to me. And the way the grip section is made, it helps prevent your fingers from sliding off the grip. So, and again, here is where how I hold my pen, and I'll just write, and no problems whatsoever. And here's a much slimmer cross fountain pen. So this one has a much smaller grip than the ones previously, and it does have a step down from the barrel. Now you can feel it as you step down the pen, but you're not going to feel it where it's going to be sharp, hurting your fingers. For some people it could be annoying, but since I have small hands, small fingers, my fingers will right on the grip. Now this one for me at times will get a bit slippery, and especially right here on this finger where I cradle my grips section on, right there, finger, and I'll have Mr. Announcer announce the fingers as we go. Finger,
thumb,
and I put my thumb right here. That's how I always have done it.
index finger,
Index finger is going to go right here. Those are my first two choices that I like to put my fingers on the grip. Last but not least, and a very important finger,
middle finger,
the middle finger. Now, get your mind out of the gutter. It's very important, at least for me, because that's where I will hold my grip when I'm writing with any pen. This is my normal grip for any pen I use. May it be ballpoint, gel pen, any pen, fountain pen, you got it, that's it. Now this pen is slippery. So yeah, I will wipe it off and wipe my fingers off. And it helps some. Not a lot. In my opinion, one just has to get used to it and grow into holding the pen and getting used to the pen. It's the individual connecting with a fountain pen that's slippery, and to check out what is comfortable, what is not comfortable for a person. in how you hold and grip your pen. So this is how I would hold it. Again, small grip section. Very slim pen. You know, I have written with this pen for long periods of time. Does my hand get tired? No, but I do have occasionally, my fingers tend to slip, so I have to use either some tissue or a wash towel to keep them dry. And here is another cross pen. And now we're going back to a longer and wider grip section. But now this can be slippery. But what I like about this cross fountain pen on the grip, it's got a bit more girth to it. It's fatter. And it gives me more to hold on to. And I don't have to put on just a lot of pressure. You can, I don't know if you can tell, like when I'm applying the pressure, you can see the blood running and turn kind of colors there when you're holding something tight. But this is really a decent grip. And here's how I hold it. And I don't have any problems with the pen. And I thought I would throw this ballpoint pen in. This is the Monteverde Invincia. It's a ballpoint pen and a mechanical pencil. So, and this is made from resin, the barrel. And I have seen folks actually hold their pen right here at the very almost tip of the pen and write, which I cannot do. But they're used to doing it just like that. And they write just like this. And they've done it all their life. If you try doing it and you're not accustomed to writing like that and holding the pen like that, you won't be able to write with it. For me, I hold my pen again right here, right above that ring that's close to the grip, right here. And this is not slippery whatsoever, none whatsoever. Very comfortable to write with. So again, it's all about the individual. Like, I'm going to let Mr. Announcer explain to you guys out there his take on a slippery pen.
Well, I find that the slippery pens for me are hard to hold on to. I would guess that it's because I think my hands are rather dry, so perhaps the oil doesn't cause any traction on there. That's just a guess, though. There may be some other explanation. But for me, I do find them to be somewhat slippery, especially if they're a slimmer pen. I do prefer a bulkier pen to be able to hold on to it.
And most people prefer more bulkier pens, more pens with girth in it, fatter barrels. I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments. I don't like slim pens, you know, and that's totally cool. For me, are the slim pens my favorite? No, they're not my favorite, but since I do reviews, I do have to get some of the more slimmer pens. But then again, they're not bad. I guess I'm just used to using a slim pen that it doesn't bother me. But what can be agitating is when you get a slippery pen, and it can even be a Lamy that has a metal grip on it. Whatever pens that are slippery, it can kind of get your goat, because here you're trying to write and your fingers start slippering, or you might scent that it feels from sweating, perspiring, from oils in your fingers, a whole bunch of things, right? So again, just get a napkin or a cloth, wipe your fingers off, not just the tips, but the inside. Make sure they're all nice and dry, and just go ahead and wipe off the barrel. And from time to time, even though your fingers aren't sweaty or oily, just get a paper towel or something and wipe that barrel down. Just because that way you're for sure that your barrel, your grip, is not going to be sweaty or oily from your fingers. So this is my explanation for how I use a slippery fountain pen and how I prevent as much as I possibly can not to let my fingers just get so slippery because I don't want to wipe them off. I just want to continue wiping. But if I don't take the time and correct that, I'm going to have sleepy fingers, slip, 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 and that's going to be very agitating and very annoying, and then you're going to say, I give up, I'm not going to use this pen, I'm just going to get another pen, I can't stand it. But deep down inside, you actually love that pen, for whatever reason. We all have our reasons for connecting with different types of pens. We all have our ways of the way we hold our pen. There's a correct way and an incorrect way, but in my humble opinion, it's the best way that you find a pen comfortable in your hand. I hope this makes some kind of sense, or it helps you understand more when you're writing with a slippery pen. It doesn't have to be a Cross or a Parker Jotter. It could be a Lamy, any type of slippery pens. And remember, the more narrow and smaller the grip is, the harder it is for bigger fingers or even small fingers to actually get a good hold on that grip to write with. It can be done. Take your time. Make sure your hands are wiped. There's no oils, no sweat, perspiration on your fingers that is carried on to your grip. When you get through wiping your fingers down, again with a napkin or a cloth, what I do is I also wipe the grip down as well to be double sure that everything's ready to go. This might make some sense to some. It might not make any sense to others. But to me, it makes all the sense in the world. And that's what counts for you. What makes sense to you? It's all about you and your pen. What's comfortable in your hand. What makes you feel good about using that pen. It's about you connecting with your fountain pen. At least that's what I go by. Okay, folks, I hope this helped. And thank you for the question as well. Enjoy. Peace. God bless. And remember, don't text and drive, my brothers. Take care.